This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
Good morning. It's now time for our entertainment segment, which means we're talking movies with Kit. And this morning, we are reviewing Brick Mansions, which is the last full movie that late Paul Walker made.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. So, really quickly, a little synopsis.
Just a little brief summary of it. It's actually based off another French action movie that I was actually a huge fan of, District B13. So essentially it takes place in the near future, and it's a dystopian society in Michigan, in Detroit specifically. And what they'd done is they'd walled off the ghetto, impoverished, and questionable, shady areas of Detroit and segregated them from the rest of society. So basically you have all the criminals, drug lords, felons, and then they also impoverished and the poor people essentially, all walled off and separate from society. So basically Lino, the lead character, who's actually the lead in the French movie as well, he kind of takes this Robin Hood type approach because he lives in that society, and he wants to get rid of all the drugs that are influencing the impoverished and the women and children in the society. And then you also have Damien, who's an undercover cop, which is Paul Walker, and he has a little bit of a vendetta against Tremaine, the main drug lord in the actual walled-off section. So it was Damien and Lino kind of team up together to take down Tremaine. Yeah.
And action-packed?
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of good action scenes in the movie. It actually starts off with the main scene in the movie that starts off with, it actually starts in the French movie as well. And it's a basic, huge action-packed parkour scene. So it's good in that it kind of refreshed everyone to that whole scene, and it really invigorated it when it first initially launched, probably 5, 6, 7 years ago. But now it just seems a little dated, and it's like been there, done that, and you've seen much bigger action scenes, so it doesn't have quite the same impact that it had when that French movie was initially launched, but it's still pretty decent.
So my question for you is, because this is a remake, and going into it, did you know that it was a remake?
I had no idea, actually.
Okay.
No.
So and you said that kind of changed your perspective on how you graded it and gave it its stars. Now, do you think if it wasn't based off of that movie or a remake, or do you think that, and I hate to say this because I know that there's a lot of Paul Walker fans out there, I don't think he was the greatest actor whatsoever. Like, I just, he was very nice to look at, don't get me wrong. But I don't, acting ability-wise, I don't think he was a great actor. So do you think if it was somebody else besides Paul Walker, it would have been a great movie, or?
I don't know if it could really have saved the movie per se, just because the dialogue was really poorly written, and then the performances themselves, they didn't require too much depth to them. It's an action movie, so you don't really expect too much from it. But Paul Walker, he has had some good performances in some action movies. I mean, he's typically typecasted, and he has that calming, good-looking, suave, gritty action hero type of performance. But if you want to see a great Paul Walker performance, go watch Running Scared, another action movie. But he does really well in that movie. But in this movie,
just not so much.
Just not too much depth involved with it, and it fell flat.
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw anything at you. Is it entertaining? The movie itself? Somewhat,
but the few times where you do find some entertainment in it, you get detracted by the cheesy acting and the cheesy dialogue. At one point, Lino, like I said, the main French actor, you could tell that his accent and his English is really, really poor. And you could tell at one point that the movie in post actually dubbed over with his own voice, because the audio that they captured from that scene wasn't up to par. So it just really came off, and it's really distracting too. The movie overall.
I'm scared to ask how many stars.
I'll give it 2 stars.
Okay.
Because like I said, I love the original movie a lot, and this movie had some great moments in it, and in some parts they did do a little bit better than the French movie, but for the most part, it was a pretty bad movie.
All right, thanks for that.
No problem.
We'll be right back.